What's up, fam? Welcome to the daily ramble. I took a bit of a hiatus for the past 3 days on the daily posting because I was attending a 3-day meditation course, which is the topic that I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm going to try to keep this one short. The last several have been pretty long and basically non-stop since I got back from the course. I've been writing out this long narrative outlining my entire experience, and I'm like it's like 10 pages in, and I'm only halfway through day 1. And let me tell you, this was an intense experience. If you haven't heard of this before, Dhamma.org, I recommend you look it up right now while you're listening to this video. It's a meditation course. It teaches Vipassana meditation, and it's totally free, completely donations based, and they only accept donations from people that have already taken a course. And so I was gone for 3 days. I left on July 1st. The course started the night of July 1st, and it ended the night of July 4th, and today is July 5th. So there was some stuff that happened this morning, but I got home around 9 a.m. and I unpacked my bags. I started to write out my morning pages, which I learned about from the Artist Way book, and I was like 3 pages in, and then I essentially was just writing the narrative of the whole course. And so I was like, yeah, let's keep this going. Let's keep writing about the entire experience. And I plan to upload a video soon that will have some videos that I took of the course campus, as well as in narrated, like I'm going to speak out the story that I'm writing of the experience, because people often ask me what the experience was like, and so I figured it would be useful if I just gave you the whole story. And I want to touch on some important bits. Oh, and so make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that video, and give this video a thumbs up, because by liking this video, it'll make it YouTube more likely to show you these next videos because they'll be related to this one. So yeah, I wanted to share some key bits. Going into this meditation course, I was not in a good headspace, like you can see in my videos before this one, that I was really struggling mentally, and coming out of it now, I feel so much more at peace, and I have, like, my mind is more concentrated. I was distracted so easily, and throughout the course, I had a few breakdowns. That was the first time. I've taken 2 10-day courses. By the way, Dhamma.org, Dhamma.org. And you take a 10-day course before you can take one of these 3-day courses. The 3-day courses are only for old students. And when I took my first 2 10-day courses, I was in a very different place in my life and a very different place mentally. So this experience was very interesting. I had a couple breakdowns. I cried several times. So this was my first time ever crying at a meditation retreat. And so I did it like 3 times. And also I was able to put to the test my yoga that I've been doing over the last couple years. Like, I was curious whether it would help. It's gonna get too loud over here. I was curious if it would help me be able to sit, because in this 3-day course, I meditated for 30 hours, 10 hours per day. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, I've been having intrusive thoughts of I'm gonna die, I'm gonna kill myself if things don't work out, if I fail again. And I've never taken these thoughts seriously. Through the practice of meditation, I've had like a space between my thoughts. Like, I am not my thoughts, but that does not that does not mean that they're pleasant. And so, yeah, there were some meditation sessions this time around where I was sitting in my room by myself, just in my mind, just repeating, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Which, not false at all. Just a matter of time. But so that was day one. Day one was I'm gonna die. And then day two, I was thinking, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then that got me to break down crying. And I wanted to share some insight that I had, which was, when it comes to thoughts and the thinking mind, you can never subtract or divide thoughts. So people often say, when I'm meditating, how do I get the thoughts to stop? How do I block out the thoughts, or how do I cancel out the thoughts? And this is not the way of Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation is about observing things as they are. And anyway, back to the insight. You can't subtract or divide thoughts. If you think about it, by the time you have a thought, it is already in the past, right? So how would you try to subtract a thought? You would have to time travel. And if you try to subtract a thought, really what you're doing is adding a thought. And when it comes to negative thoughts, in fact, you are adding a negative. This wasn't the insight. Anyway, however, you can add and you can multiply. You can't subtract or divide thoughts. You can only add or multiply thoughts. And so, when I was going through this moment of intrusive thoughts, I had the bright idea to try to add thoughts. And so I just started focusing on things I was grateful for. Things I was grateful for in my life over the past few years, even in the current day, and just kind of listing. These are the things that I'm grateful for. And that proved to be quite effective in calming my mind. So I wanted to share that little bit of insight. And on the third day, the first 2 days I found it very difficult to observe my breath and observe the sensations in my body. And those are the objectives in day 1 and day 2. In the third day, I was much calmer, much more concentrated. I was able to release these thought patterns that I had been thinking habitually. Many of them were not even my own thoughts. It was, oh, this person said this, or this person thinks this about me, which these types of thoughts are not helpful. By the way, I said I was going to keep this short. Sorry about this. I guess short is relative. And by the third day, I was able to focus on my sensations, which was so great. And at the very end, they do something called metta, which is loving kindness meditation. And that was the third time that I burst out crying. Except this, instead of the first 2 times, I was crying out of fear and overwhelm, I suppose. The second day, when I was repeating, I'm going to do it, in my mind I was thinking, kill myself. But if you really think about it, I'm going to do it, that can be a positive thought. But anyway, on the third day, I started crying during the loving kindness meditation because I realized that I haven't been loving myself. And so coming to that realization just caused me to start sobbing, tears of love and compassion, tears of joy and bliss. And the metta meditation allowed me to give myself that love that I had been withholding because I didn't think that I was worthy. I didn't deserve the love. And so giving myself that love with the intention of spreading it with everyone that I come into contact with, continuing on this path that I've been on, it made me cry. And the third insight that I had came pretty early, which was in the previous courses when I would sit cross-legged for long periods of time, my leg would fall asleep like every 10 minutes. But I realized that that was because I would have anterior pelvic tilt where I would kind of push my butt out in order to curve my spine and help support it that way. And this time around, I would tuck my tailbone in and use more of my core muscles to support myself, and that allowed for a nice, clear flow of blood to my legs. So those were the insights I wanted to share with you. And also, something that's interesting is in Highland Park recently, which is a city near me, there was a mass shooting at a 4th of July parade. And I wanted to say that my heart goes out to the victims and the survivors and the families and anyone else that was affected. But something that's interesting is that was around the same time I was thinking, I'm gonna do it. And so the thought that I had while walking before starting this video was like that synchronicity is interesting, and thinking about how humans, we all operate on cycles. And so I was going through a hard time at that moment, and I'm sure plenty of other people were going through a hard time at that moment. And it's just a reminder to reach out to the people that you love, and even the people that you don't love. Just reach out, ask them how they're doing, be that helping hand to get through tough times, because we live in a very challenging moment in history with a lot of conflict within the country, conflict within families, conflict between countries, economic conflict, and conflict within our own minds. And so it's more important now more than ever for us to come together, support one another, be willing to listen and be present and receptive to validate what others are going through. Because without first seeing things as it is, it's impossible to change course, things are always changing, but what I mean is, without knowing how things are, without validating the current reality, you can't effectively lead change, if that makes sense. I'm still working on that one. I've been rambling for a while at this point, 15 minutes in. And so, this was a good walk. I just wanted to share about my 3-day Vipassana journey, tell you that I am going to be coming out with a couple more videos that go into even more details of my course. So please subscribe and hit that like button and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when that video comes out. And I love you. All right. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my VIP princess shirt. That's how you know I'm in a good mood. Peace.